I am in shock after watching this video, which is a video that you should watch, so I will link it in the description below. Because the man who made this video had some different observations than I did about the video. But as I watched this video, I had some revelations that shocked me so much, because I now feel that I have 100% proof that NASA is lying and faking the images from space, so that the photos we see from space and even some of the video are 100% fake, and this is now proven in my mind. So firstly, I will go over some of the things I saw in this video, which is supposedly a real HD video of a camera rotating around the moon, shot from the dark side, or what we call actually the far side of the moon, because it's not dark always in their model. It is a camera that supposedly shot the Earthrise and was running around the moon taking footage. So first I'm just going to go over a few things I see wrong with this footage, and then I'm going to get to the ending revelation I had, which definitively proved to me, and I hope you'll see it too, that all of these images have to be fake. Okay, let's just get to analyzing this picture. So this is what we commonly call the dark side of the moon, but in their model, if the sun was behind the moon and facing Earth, then the dark side could be lit up with sunlight. So let's not call it the dark side anymore. Let's call it the far side. In this picture of the far side of the moon, it doesn't look very dusty. Okay, one could argue that the dust is just laying on the ground. But the thing I noticed immediately was that there are no real craters. So that kind of surprised me, because I would think there would be way more craters on the other side of the moon than the one facing us, because craters would be slamming into it from outer space, right? But no, there's no real craters here. There's just a bunch of shelves and a few outies, no real innies. So that struck me as odd. The other odd thing about this was that there are no stars. Absolutely no stars in the sky. Suspicious. Yet again, no stars in the sky, NASA. Okay, science. And then the other thing I noticed is that the moon is lit all the way out to the basically the horizon of the moon. And then suddenly I noticed that the shadows on the moon are, well, they're just all wrong. In order to see this, first look at the Earth. So the Earth is practically full, meaning that the sun should be behind us, standing right here as the observer, because the Earth does not have its own light, right? So then the shadows on the ground should be going away from us, because the sun is at our back and it is lighting up the Earth fully. But that's not what we see. We see the shadows are coming towards us, as if the sun would be up in the right corner of the sky, shining its light more diagonally towards us. And then we notice that if the sun is in the position of the sky that the shadows on the moon seem to indicate it should be shining on the Earth from this direction. And that would mean that the whole entire right-hand side of the Earth should be in shadow, because the sun would not be shining on that half of the Earth, and it would look more like this. Or actually, because the sun is so far away, right, it would be even a little bit less, more like this, because the sun would be so far behind the Earth. But no, if you look closely, the Earth actually appears to be a little bit shaded on the left-hand side, which would place the sun more on the right-hand side of the screen, and as I said, should be behind us. So it should be behind us and slightly to the right, in order to give the Earth the kind of shadows that they gave it here. But this was not my biggest revelation, which was that moonrises are impossible, people. The only reason that this one was even able to be called possible is because supposedly the camera was rotating around the moon. But you see, the far side of the moon should never even see the Earth. Why? Let's take a look. So everyone knows that only one side of the moon ever faces Earth, right? That's the side we call the near side, and the far side we never see from Earth. That's because they claim that the moon is spinning so incredibly slowly that it always constantly faces just one side to us. So from observer's standpoint, we only ever see one side. Now, part of the problem is it's very hard to put yourself into another perspective and actually place your own little self on the moon. But if you were standing on the moon, on the far side, you should never see the Earth, okay? The Earth would be below your feet, underneath the tiny little planet that you're on, or asteroid, whatever the heck you want to call it. If you were standing on the near side of the moon, you would always see the Earth in the sky. In fact, in a very motionless area, you would see it spinning and you would see it changing phases as the sun rotated around it and stuff. But it would always be above you in the sky. It would never go below the horizon, or else everyone on Earth would be able to see the dark side of the moon or what's underneath your feet. Do you get it? So basically, standing on the near side of the moon, which is where all of the Apollo missions supposedly landed, was on the near side of the moon, you would be able to look up in the sky, and wherever the Earth was positioned in the sky from your vantage point, it would appear to be up there, pretty much hanging there motionless and just spinning. So it would look a lot more like this, and then it would, rotate a little and the sun would rotate around it and you would get phases. So it would hang there spinning and going through phases, but it wouldn't be rising. It's not going to ever rise. Ever. Do you understand that? Okay, so let's take a look at some of their lies now. Oh my gosh, say the astronauts from the moon's surface, the near side of the moon. There's the Earth coming up. Ooh, yeah, it's just rising and rising. That is complete BS. There's no way the Earth could rise, or else it would start, if it was down below, here they have some pictures of it coming up and then it's up a little bit higher in their sky. That is total crap, because from this perspective, like look at that bottom picture, half the Earth, or actually the full Earth, would see at least half of the far side of the moon, the one that's down below down there. So now we can see that every single one of these moonrise pictures is fake, as if we couldn't tell from the lack of stars. But yeah, they're all fake. This is proof, definitive proof to me that the space photos are faked. And if you go to Wikipedia, you can actually get this nice little nifty video, which I downloaded for you to watch here in a minute. It's the official Apollo moonrise of the astronauts supposedly filmed it standing on the near side of the moon. And again, it's total crap. Here you can see it coming up around from the far side. Here's the Earth. It's staring right now at least half of the far side of the moon, which is impossible because we never see the far side of the moon. It's coming up, it's rising over the near side of the moon where the astronauts are standing, and you can see they're not moving. This is not a camera zooming over the surface of the moon, it's stationary. Total BS. So can someone prove space exists to me now? Because I'm not so sure anymore. So, people who laughed at me about the flat Earth experiments, keep on laughing.